Okay, this is take two. We are amateur video people. Deacon Rick Roeder from the Faith Formation Program at Mater Dei here with Ashley List. We just attempted a video on Then Feed Just One, which is a food packaging event coming up in March on the 22nd. We're about 10 days away or so from this event. And there's a lot of information available for that on the parish website, materdeesc.org. Under Faith Formation, there's a lot of information there on how to register, how to give us some funding if you can't participate, or both. And this is a food packaging event for the poor people of Honduras. It's a great opportunity for anybody out there to help feed those in great need. So Ashley is a young mother, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her family.
Yep. So I married Michael List. We have 4 boys. Aiden and Connor go to school here at Mater Dei, and then Brandon's 4 and Ethan's a year old. So.
Okay. And your children, your 2 older, attend Mater Dei school. Mm-hmm. So one thing I wanted to ask you about is you also participate in the Faith Formation Program. Why is that?
Because I feel it's important that I be involved in their faith formation. I know it's with being involved, and also I learn with them. You think it takes it to the next level. Being able to present it to your kids, you have to have a strong faith yourself, and so I learn just right along with them.
Okay, and so Ashley's a model parent for me, because I've always said in the faith formation programs that we've put forward for the religious education children who don't go to a Catholic school, our program is still for any family. It's important for moms and dads to be involved in the education of their children, especially the religious education of their children. And this is a great way to do it. Wednesday nights are supposed to be free anyway from practices and whatnot. And so our program is always a great way to allow parents to do what they're supposed to do, be the primary educators of their children. So I really admire you for that, and I encourage other people to follow that example. So you said that your interest in Feed Just One comes from a scriptural background. Tell us a little bit about that.
Just kind of from a humbling experience. I don't know if I was in high school or college, but the gospel really got to me one time in Mass. It was about whatever you did for the least of these, you did for me. And I remember thinking in that moment, if I were to meet him, that moment in judgment, that I would have an excuse, much like Adam and Eve, and say, but Jesus, I lived in the richest country in the world during the 21st century. I didn't feel like I saw people that were hungry or thirsty. We have public drinking fountains, or naked. Our poor people even have cell phones on them. And so, but then my soul reminded me, you need to beg for mercy, and then just giving that opportunity now, when things like this arise, to be a part of them and to feed Jesus in the people of Honduras. Like, this is a great opportunity for all of us, as part of our salvation. So.
Absolutely. And one of the things that impresses me about Dick Siebert, who's in charge of the program, is that he makes, when you talk to him about the program, he's been down there so many times on mission trips, and the group is really involved in a lot of different areas, from medicine to food to clothing, to bringing people down there to actually, hands-on help those people. He's really good at expressing the urgency of what those people are going through, that they're dying as we speak. They're dying as we set this all up. They're dying as we're begging people to become involved and to give some funding. And, he knows that from a personal level of having been there. But it's those little windows, that we see in this richest country in the world that are opportunities to help these people, even though we may never see them. Mm-hmm. And we may not know fully the extent of what we're doing for them, but it's an opportunity for us to get involved. So, really encouraging people to latch into whatever that little prompt is that God gives them.
Right. I feel like we're very detached from the poor. And so we tried to make this a more personal experience for our boys, with it being during Lent, to practice our prayer, our fasting, our almsgiving. So prayer, that my boys can envision 4 boys in Honduras who, may not be able to go out and play soccer because they're hungry. And I can pray for that mom who, like you say, isn't able to feed her. I can't imagine how hard as a mother to not be able to provide for your hungry child, to make that personal. And so we've been watching, YouTube, just, poverty in Honduras. And it's been such a good experience for my boys to see it and actually understand what poverty really looks like in this world, and for that to be more personal on their heart. And it really did touch Aiden, when he could see, he says to me, "See, Mom, you're not the only one with a dirty house." That just, this poor family didn't have, they had dirt floor, they had a shack, they didn't have running water, electricity. And to know what we take for granted here, that my dirty house is I appreciate the clutter of the toys that we're blessed with.
Yeah.
Just what we really take for granted, to make it real and personable, that my boys can understand and be moved with compassion for these people that we want to feed.
And that's a great idea, to use YouTube, which kids use all the time, and they, as they grow older, more and more they do. Well, how about a good thing like pulling up and learning more about the people that we're feeding that day? That's a good example of a mother using her ingenuity and her imagination to educate her children in another way. Use those videos for good, and use those videos to help them. Because the day we walk in there, they're going to know that as their fingers move, as their arms move, as they sing along with the song and have fun with friends, that really what it's all about is those kids they learned about in the video.
Right.
So you were very inspired by somebody who went down there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
My sister got to go with Mr. Siebert in 2007. And so it really touched my sister's heart. And she still has a framed picture on her bookshelf as that reminder. But I vividly remember picking her up from the airport that day. She just came floating in, just all these mountaintop experience, heavenly consolations. And I shared in her joy, hearing her stories. And then she shared in my joy, because that very day my high school sweetheart proposed. And it was Easter weekend, and we're celebrating our Lord rising from the dead, and it just doesn't get any better than that. So
some mountaintop experiences. Yep. And that all contributes. And I'm sure your sister probably said to you that in the faces of those children and of those people, she saw Jesus. Jesus made himself poor for us. Right here behind us is the Last Supper, when he started to pour out his life, giving them his body and blood, and then going out and sealing it with his death on the cross. And really, it's imitation of him to care for these people. And those moments of joy that we have just from knowing that we've given them a little bit of relief, I think is a big time incentive to do that. So I think it's going to be a great day. You?
Yep.
Can't wait. There's going to be a lot of people involved. We play music. There's teams that gather at tables, and you kind of start to get in rhythm, and we start to pump out all these packages of food. It's dried food that they'll eventually boil in water down there. Actually, Mr. Siebert, one of their big projects is to make sure they have clean water. So hopefully the clean water is coming from another one of the programs that these people do. But the food, so you even mentioned that you might want to get some of this food to serve at home so the kids can see what the kids down there eat. And
right. And the next time they complain about what they're having for dinner,
maybe you pull one of those out and say, let's go to Honduras.
You might appreciate what you got. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And Aiden really, he's my math boy, and he figured out, with it costing about 16 cents a meal, just for him to figure out, the different scenarios of how many meals we can get out of our pocket change, really was interesting for him to learn about too.
So he calculated out how much.
Yeah. So the 4 boys that we prayed for, we could feed them 3 meals a day for the 40 days of Lent for $76. And when he found out how much it cost for just our family to go out for dinner one time, it's like, wow, Mom,
76
the
doesn't
difference
cover it on a night out with the gang. Almost not to McDonald's anymore.
Nope.
But yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing about Dick's group. one of my favorite charities is a missionary priest from Remsen. And I can bring money to him down to his family at the bank in Remsen, 100% of what I give them gets to his people.
That's awesome.
With Dick Sievert and his group, it's well over 95 cents of your dollar gets to the people in Honduras. And one of the things to me about a charity is the percentage that actually gets to the people, and you can't beat that with this group, and which is another great reason to do that. So, Ashley, we appreciate you as a great example of a Catholic mom. Thanks for coming here to talk to us today, and we're going to be looking forward to having a whole lot of people with us that day. It's going to be a joyful day, March 22nd. 3 shifts, and it starts after school. I think Heelan is doing it Wednesday during the school day. So for parents that aren't able to get to that, you can come on the 22nd after school's out. I think we start at 3:45 and end about 8 o'clock with 3 shifts. So you can pick your shift. If you can't participate, you can give some funding. It's going to be a great day, and it'll be a builder. I mean, this is our first time trying it here, but I'm looking forward to a long-term relationship with Mr. Sievert and helping to provide more and more for his people. So thanks for coming in today, and we'll see you
Thank you.
there. Okay, thanks, Ashley.